Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. So let's move on a little bit further in this Weiss translation. So according to that which has been spoken with finality. That was the promise of God. It was final. God wasn't going to change his mind. He had said it, and that was it. And I've been reading in Esther quite a bit, preparing for a couple of women's conferences coming up for this spring. And the decree of the king stood. Once the king made the decree, it was signed into law, it bore his signet ring, that was it. The law could not be changed. The king had to issue another decree. And that's how it is with God. His word does not change. It cannot be changed once the thing has gone forth out of his mouth. And so let's move on. He says, and not being weak with respect to his faith, attentively considered his own body permanently dead, he being about 100 years old, and also the deadness of Sarah's womb. So it would be impossible for a couple to have a child if, the man being beyond childbearing years. So Abraham was almost 100, but then twice as impossible. If it is impossible, I don't know that it can be any more impossible. But Sarah's womb was dead. And it says that he did not weaken in faith. He was not weak with respect to his faith. Faith, again, remember we've talked about over the past couple of weeks, have faith in God, trust in, adhere to, rely on, stick to, lean on. It says, though human reason for hope was gone, he hoped in the basis of his hope that he should become the father of many nations. He did not weaken in faith when he considered. Now, if we do not consider the impossibility, then we've just stuck our heads in the sands. Like an ostrich, just bury your head. If we ignore the natural circumstance, then we're really just wishing that, we don't have any basis for trusting the word of God, because for us, we don't even understand the impossibility of the circumstance. Abraham considered, thought about, knew, and actually the Weiss says attentively considered, that he gave attention to the fact that his body was as good as dead, his body permanently dead, because he was 100 years old, and he considered the deadness and the barrenness of Sarah's womb. It did not matter. The natural circumstance did not matter. And it does not matter for you. It is okay if you consider the impossibility of your circumstance. And we're going to get to the next couple of lines. We'll get there this week. Why it's okay. But when we understand that the position that we're in, that the promise God has given is impossible, it is not natural, again, we give room for God to receive the glory, for him to receive the credit, and that it is only him, that there is not another source that can take credit for what is going to happen. How can I be so confident? Because I have the word of God and I know him. I cannot base my hope in the word of God and my faith in the word of God on what happened in somebody else's experience. I don't know them. I don't know their walk with God. I don't know their intimacy with him. I don't know how they talked. I don't know, if they changed their mind. I don't know. And I can't base whether or not I trust his promise on what happened to somebody else. I have to trust his promise because I know the basis of my hope. I know his character. I know how much he loves me. I know his heart. So I can trust his word. So it doesn't matter if my situation is impossible. It doesn't matter if the promise just absolutely cannot happen in the natural. God is not bound by the natural. If he has spoken a word, he needs a believer to believe it to come to pass. Oh, it's a whole nother story for another day. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.